The draft is here for GeO's first match against Cream Esports, and another thing we pointed out about Cream last week is they were pretty much going in on melee, and the ADC thing wasn't something they were on board with. Let's see if it changes here.
They have new players in the roster, a new home to reformat it as we start things off. Crashed and Net are off the board. Joining them will be the ever-present side lane marksman ban Elsu, along with mid Sephira.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Cream does go for that side lane abyssal meta that we've been going for so long. GeO, very strange band so far.
So Crashed is LATAM meta. I've never really gotten it, but they dislike Crashed, so he'll be banned. A Net is pretty standard actually across all regions. The Murad is out of the ordinary.
So on the side of Cream, Gret is the one who jungles. So that would be the ban there if they're familiar with Gret. And out of all of these bans, we've seen Cream go for the the tax basically of banning second, making sure to ban out all the strong characters, but because GeO didn't ban them out, they let themselves go Richter.
He slid on through there, the tiniest of gaps, and Elwyn locked him in immediately.
We saw quite a lot of Richter bans on our first 2 play days of this season, but that's he hasn't been banned out yet today, and no, he was banned out by Queso, sorry, in their match against Nova earlier on. Anyway, he's been picked here, so we're actually going to see him turn up. By the way, if you're wondering where Wiro is and why nobody's picking Wiro, he's not eligible for play. The new hero who came out on Monday and is in Zenial's Codex, if you get that far to unlock him, he's not eligible to play until next week.
And so, they'll have to build their rosters without him, but we do get this roster. Mirotic locks in Alice, Liliana, Valheim, and Nakroth for Cream. Opposing them, GeO have my favorite Baldum, and Natalia for mid.
Yes! Yes! I just
realized
Joker
and Quillen.
Natalia is amazing if she has a setup, and you know who's a good setup is Baldum.
Baldum!
Oh my goodness.
Natalia, it's the perfect duo. You scoop them up and you slap them down. There'll be a Zenial as a desperate attempt at a response, one of the best team support characters existing.
A desperate attempt at a response.
A desperate attempt.
No one can deal with Baldum in TJ's mind.
Nobody dares face the almighty dear God.
Okay, well, in all seriousness, we did get our answer to what they're going to do with their Abyssal. It looks like it's going to be Benja. I don't approve. It's better than they had last week, which was all melee. That didn't work out.
It's better than no ADC.
Right.
Yeah. To a point that we've already identified, and literally to a point at which that plateau is just going to stop it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, the Quillen, we haven't seen him all that much. He absolutely deletes people like no hero in the game once he gets his power spike going. Now, can Alice and Zenial keep their team alive? That's what this game's going to come down to, in my opinion.
I think they actually have a pretty good composition to play defense. I was making a lot of jokes about it, but one of the easiest ways you avoid Baldum and one of the easiest ways you avoid Natalia is with mobility, because the biggest problem is they do really well if you approach them slowly, because the Baldum is very good at setting people up, and the Natalia is very good at knocking them down. Now, Alice has some movement speed buffs. Her Friendship Shield's very good at that. Her Sunshine Stun, very good at stopping aggression. If that Alice works out, maybe it's the secret sauce.
And Alice, like I've mentioned before, with the Ring of the Fiend, with that new item, all you have to do, Ring of the Fiend, normal boots, and just using Friendship, you reach the maximum speed in the game, 800 units per second, 8 meters per second. That is some Usain Bolt nonsense going on there with Alice. It is terrifying to watch.
Yeah, 800 units.
That's
a lot of units.
That's a lot.
An absolute unit.
Basically, look at Sephira's range, and that's how far you go in 1 second. You're zooming across the map.
We've got Richter and Quillen coming into this, along with Battalia, which is now the name of that little sub-meta, and that's established, it's existing. That's
I was going for Naldum.
No, you weren't, you're just trying.
Oh.
Richter and Quillen, we've not seen many of those. We've seen more bans, I think, than picks of both of those heroes across all of our regions so far. It feels like a bit of a... I would have said that was a bit of a scary lineup to face if you're Cream, let alone the fact that it's GeO controlling them. Yep. Let's find out. GeO and Cream take it away for LATAM.
Oh! Sorry to overreact already.
That was an insane start.
I'm sorry.
Elwyn chimes in.
I'll calm down now.
And he's in again. Gret pulled back. Elwyn starts things off on a very good note.
I was about to make the point that an early pick, an early wild charge like that could be could set the stage for GeO to run away with this, and right before I could even get it out of my mouth, I was so excited, TJ. I'm sorry.
I could tell somehow. Elwind's definitely making me pretty happy as well. Oh, and he's in for more. Smith chimes in with the Arcane Nova, dropping Durson down to a quarter HP.
So TJ, this Natalia I've been thinking about lately. I don't know if you knew that, but
is it because it's the cosplay?
No, that's not the reason why. The reason why though is because she was so great in Thailand and so good in other regions, and she just lost. She fell out of favor, and I was wondering why, and it's because there's no Grag or Mina to set her up anymore. But I was thinking, you know what, who's a hero who's starting to come in the meta again? Valor. That was a concept I thought of in my head, and then it came out on the screen, and I was so happy to see it.
I already forgot what the fancy duo name that Matt came up with was. Vitalia, he's shouting from across the desk. All right, I'll run with that. Vitalia definitely has a lot of potential because, like we were talking about, the Poldum is really, really good at setting up isolated targets.
And once you set them up, the best person to bring them right down is Natalia. She has the most burst damage in the entire game.
And that Arcane Nova slows people as well. When you have people like Lycan to dive in, though, you might not even get that far. He's got a lot of good poke in the mid lane, and Cream are forced back right off the bat.
This is terrifying. Do you have somehow the early game and the late game?
Yeah. I think that means they have the game. Justin in a lot of trouble. He'll fall, and now Gret's the only hope for a response. He too is melted. Elwin charges forward. It's a double kill to Smith, and Elwin's not done yet. Finally, Venture says, hang on, this is my tier 2 tower. You haven't taken the first. Hold up a moment.
Elwin got a little bit too green there. He's like, let me get one more. Elwin, just calm down. Just don't get too crazy.
Elwin's, though, is already blowing me away. As White focuses in on the tower. He actually might pay for it. Benja very low, though, gets a little too confident and is absolutely obliterated by that lethal raise.
GeO's winning across the board here. Even Lycan rotated to the middle and just chunked Neo down. Now he goes with the Hunter's Mark.
That's a lot of damage. Neo does have the mobility to escape, though, and Lycan may have overextended. Gret will be punished, though. The Arcane Nova misses. The Arcane Rays do not.
Yeah, those Arcane Spirits hit so hard and can absolutely trunk right through these players. Benja doing his best effort to try to hold this off, but he can't do it alone.
I hadn't noticed. Everywhere else on the map is a cleanup for GeO. A tectonic event, if you will.
What is this? What is this?
Trouble for Benja. Elwin's coming in on the back.
He doesn't even know.
He will know now. There's the scoop and the punish. A 4-man rotate again from GeO, and another kill found again for GeO.
If they keep this up, this game is not going to last all that long.
The bot lane, that tower is under threat. It will fall. Hizzy-Fit in a desperate attempt to defend will not work out as GeO get another kill.
Yeah, you shouldn't have tried to defend that tower, Cream. I'm sorry, it was already dead. Maybe get something else done on the rest of the map, but this is already looking just horrible.
They'll go for the Abyssal. GeO Esports looking to pick it up 4 minutes into game. 7 kills, a tower, and the Abyssal Dragon.
They're losing gold efficiency taking this Abyssal Dragon. They're better off going for more kills, TJ.
All right. Thanks for the analysis.
I mean, they're losing gold. They can get more gold by just continuing to kill the members of Cream.
And they do. Why do one when you can do both? GeO Esports will clean up the kills and now press forward into the enemy jungle just to make sure Cream can't maybe get away with a little bit of farm. How do Cream get back into this game? Nice.
Yeah. I have no response at the moment. I'm sorry.
Okay, then to rephrase, if there's no use crying over spilt milk, how do Cream recover their whole team synergy? What's gone wrong in this game? What can they fix? If not this game, maybe the next.
They just need to not get picked off early. They knew that the combination was there from Elwin and Smith on that deadly duo, and they walked straight into it. This is what's continuing to happen in this game as well. They keep walking into deaths. They just need to stop the basic issue of dying here, basically.
Play a little bit more passive, maybe?
Now that they've fallen behind, yes, they need to stop trying to save towers they cannot save. They need to stop going for objectives they cannot go for, like this.
Poor Murosik. He scooped up. The Wild Prison would have executed him, but it was not needed. The Joker Rocket comes through. Gret tries to find a response, but Smith is too tanky because he's so far ahead.
Seems to be a common theme. GeO is overkilling the opponent. They don't even need all of their abilities to land. They're just wiping them off the face of Antara's battlefield.
Got 9 kills to their name, and that was their second tower. One problem with not just GeO, but a lot of LATAM teams in Season 2 was they'd get all these kills and really struggle to get towers. Is that rearing its head?
They've gotten 2, or is that 3? 2, sorry. Zinio was covering it up. They're doing their best to try to take the towers. You can see the effort. They're pushing straight in. They're not really rotating for kills anymore. They're rotating just to take these towers, which I like to see.
So perhaps a good adaptation from GeO to deal with the customary weakness of their region as they clear wave and look for this mid tower.
They just have so much poke between Joker and Natalia. Look how much damage Cream are taking just hiding behind towers.
They're not hiding. They're fully exposed. And now GeO Esports, you say they'd stop looking for kills, but they've just grouped up around this Golem spawn, hoping maybe that Cream would contest the Abyssal. Now Gret does. He's been spotted out and will quickly be chased down. He's got mobility on Nacroth. He should get to safety, but it is a close thing.
Right, he does get to safety, but he could have done that all by himself, and Cream rotate their entire team over, meaning they're losing ground on the other side of the map.
And Benj is caught out in mid.
Wow.
He'll flicker forward. There's the Wild Prison. Do they have the punish? There's the Arcane Nova. It's slightly short. Benji will survive, but Gret dives forward and is picked up instantly by the Wild Charge. GeO Esports get another kill.
How many wild charges has Elwin hit this game? It just feels like he's scooping and getting all of the entire Cream team on his side.
It's a wild stampede.
That is true. The plural form. Seems like there's more than one Baldom in this game.
You wanted to take offense at that, but you couldn't, because I was just right.
It's just true. Sorry, I couldn't contest that.
GeO did take a tower in mid, and they're continuing to pressure across the map, gaining more and more control.
Lycan is in the midst of 3 players here, just thinking about taking them all on.
Gret's gonna go for this buff though, and Lycan shows up to punish him. That was beautiful. He's gone fishing, and he's caught a big fish indeed.
And he's getting traced by 3. I don't even know if he's gonna go down here with that retaliate.
Maybe. Neo dives in. Lycan's got the lifesteal to stay alive. For now, Jungle Strike would maybe have given him an opportunity to escape, but it took 4 players. GeO all the while focused down that Dark Slayer.
Right, even with that kill, they're still starting to fall behind Cream. They're still falling behind this Dark Slayer buff that will enable GeO to start pushing down even more towers.
That Drake should mean they get at least 1 more. I will say, despite your earlier assurances, I do feel GeO being a little bit inefficient at taking all these towers. How can they maybe be a little bit better? Because right now they're just simply relying on 1 tower at a time with a full 5-man roster.
Right, you can't expect the rate at which they're killing Cream to keep up, or to be the same as the rate at which they're taking down towers. I think they're taking down towers as well as they can, considering how defensive Cream is being. But
You're right there, bud.
I'm sorry.
Maggie, catching the words in your throat. A nice little attempt at an assassination in the enemy jungle. Won't work out, but it's pressure. I'd actually really like to see, I'll call it out, GeO spread out across the map a little bit more.
Right.
They don't need to worry about losing a 4-man team fight, a 3-4 team fight even, because they've got such a lead. I want to see them split out across the map and pressure multiple lanes at the same time, because Cream can't take 2 5-5 team fights. In the 5-5 team fights, they stand a chance of maybe clearing wave and holding on, and that's what they've been doing.
Right, you can win 2v3s or even keep him close as GeO so that he can get advantage on the other side of the map, like you say. Hopefully they can take this tower. They're liking to look in the bush though.
Yeah, waiting for Mirotic to fall back, but they do take it in due time, and all of Cream rotate to defend.
They lose the entire wave though. I feel like they could have gotten the high ground tower if they were a little bit more efficient.
Lycan's again changing up the strats though, and I like this as he rotates round. Now the high ground tower will be under threat, and GeO do start off with a Wild Prison. 1 player caught out. There's the lethal raise. Gret's gone again.
Nice.
White dives in. He'll take the towers. The Angelic Splendor does come through. Mirotic stalls up the fight. Maybe that's enough, but Lycan in the meantime is taking yet another high ground. There should be 2 gone at the end of this.
Seems like Cream was completely unaware of Lycan taking that up top. This is a slightly different GeO team than we saw from last week. They are being very aggressive now, all of a sudden taking these towers.
And that's worked out as GeO rush forwards. Their previous errors have been washed away. Smith is forging them a new victory. He burns down Neo at range.
Yeah, Neo typically shouldn't be one to get caught by those lethal rays, but in that situation he certainly did.
Cream I hate to go back to this, but at this point, with 2 high grounds down, we can almost be assured that game 1 is unlikely. How do they turn things round for game number 2? What do they need to improve on?
Starts with the draft. He gave away a terrible draft here to GeO, and once they do, they need to not get caught out of position. If they do get caught out of position, they need to play even more defensively. Like, everything needs to change for them, to be completely honest.
Right, well, encouraging thoughts there for Cream, as they try and play defensive behind this one high ground. The Dark or the Abyssal did get taken post-enraged buff, which means GeO Esports will be ensured any team fight they win, essentially. Unless Cream managed to scrape out some miracle defense of this high ground, this is looking very rough.
Yeah, they can't really take any fights because no one can get close, and unfortunately their team has to get close, with the exception of Neo. They're gonna get burned down. They get even anywhere in the vicinity of GeO like that.
Goodbye! What comes through? Mirotic actually does knock Lycan quite low, but that'll be the only thing he gets as the rest of the team focuses him down. The Angelic Splendor will not come off. Lycan's down very low, but that is the only player low. As GeO rush forward, they have a complete team ace. All 5 players down for the next 30 seconds. And GeO, with an earth-shaking 12-minute win, take game number 1.
You know it's a landslide when the entire team waits patiently at the core for the 1 minion to arrive so that they can go ahead and take it down. What a crushing victory.